G'day and welcome to Harry's Big Shed, where I take on projects that really I should just pay somebody else to do them, but I love getting my hands dirty and working things out and, finally at the end of it all having a vehicle that we can drive and provides a fair amount of reliability. So last episode I introduced you to my C3500 Julie, Chevy crew cab Julie. It explained that it was blowing a lot of smoke and, we had a number of mechanical issues and electrical issues. So we started at the engine end, and to that end, this time round, we're gonna keep working on getting the engine out of this truck. I really want to go through it. If it's got to be rebuilt, well then that's what we'll do. I'm really hoping though these Chevy diesels have a bit of a reputation for cracking in the block down near where the crankshaft bolts in, and also in the heads between the valves. If I'm really lucky, then we won't experience any of that, because replacement Chevy diesels down under at least get really bloody expensive. So a massive thank you again to all of those who've continued to watch my videos and put up with my shenanigans. If you haven't as yet, feel free to hit the subscribe button, because you won't be able to set your watch and say, oh yeah, Harry updates every day or every week or every month at this time, but at least you'll then get the notifications to do so. So let's get into it again. Let's see how far we get. I'm not professing to be any sort of expert. I'm just some guy having a crack, doing the best he can with the little bit he's got. So let's go. I've been working away at, slowly taking all the electrical connectors off. There's a whole bunch of them that come to the top of the engine where the injector pump is, and for the air conditioning, and they all seem to run underneath the manifold. So it's looking like I'm going to have to get the manifold to get a lot of these things off the motor. What I'm really hoping to find is like some sort of master plug, because if that's the case, then before we actually put the engine back in, I'm hoping we can put most of all these wires back, all the sensors and everything back in where they're supposed to be, and it'll make our lives a lot easier. So as we bring the engine back in, we can plug the whole thing together, which is what I found on the Commodore when we were doing the engine swap in Brutus. So, I mean, look, I'm not working on this all day, every day. It is just a personal project. I'm probably into this now, about 7 hours, 8 hours. And again, I'm just taking my time with it because I'm desperately trying not to break anything. The more you can keep intact, the better off you're going to be. So keep labeling, keep bagging, keep tagging, and it'll make your life so much easier as it starts to go back together. So here's something, whenever you're working on old vehicles, I always find it's the wiring that's the biggest pain in the butt, because people do all sorts of things. So this is an earth lead that goes to the battery, and there's an earth that just goes to the back of the block over here. It wouldn't be, I don't know, half a metre, like 2 foot at the most, but I have got all this freaking cable here. And now we're going to find some way of getting it off the block. Ah, here it is. See, well, I already have a socket handy for it. Yes. That's fortunate. An earthly that long, seriously. And again, spending an extra few minutes doing this can save you hours. Can save you hours when it comes time putting all this stuff back together. It'll actually help you work out what's needed, what's not, what some bright spark decided they thought was a good idea, but it's not really needed at all. Up here. There we go. All light gone. Here's something we don't see in Australia. This vehicle has a block heater. Any Aussies going, what the hell is a block heater for? So, these diesel trucks came with a plug to go to the mains power, because in some parts of America, or like especially like in Canada where it gets really, really cold in winter, you'd roll your vehicle into your garage and you'd plug it in to keep your engine warm, because it gets pretty cold in Canada, eh? So, I don't think this is something going back in under my custodianship of this vehicle, but I still haven't yet worked out where it goes, what it's connected to. Somewhere down there, so we'll slowly have to pump that down. I've got to remove more of these hoses so I can see what's going on. And because it's coming into summer, it's raining in Melbourne today. We actually have a saying in Melbourne, if you're not happy with the weather, just wait a minute. Now it does help having long arms and legs, because these things sit up fairly high, and I've even jacked this up a bit higher, just so I can get underneath it to get the oils and fluids out. I still haven't drained the transmission, but I figure that's a job for another day. That right there, my friends, is progress. I've been doing some reading. There's a mod called Feed the Beast, because basically the fuel lines coming out to the injector pump are really, really small. So diesels basically work better the more fuel you can get to them. It's a very simple way of putting it, but yeah, these trucks are renowned for having fuel starvation problems, which leads to higher EGTs. There's a whole raft of issues, but you know, when you're delving this deep into it, then it doesn't really matter. You can fix things and improve things as you go. As I say, my whole plan is to get this entire engine out, not just to fix the rear main seal leak. I want to crack the engine open, see how it is. You know, do we have any cracked pistons, cracked heads? You know, do I have to, you know, am I better off either rebuilding this engine or getting a rebuilt changeover unit or whatever it is, so that I know, again, my whole thing with these vehicles that I'm working on is by the time they roll out of here, I should be able to do a little bit of reliability testing. You know, 150, 200 Ks, you know, freeway, highway, stop, start, whatever, and then I should be able to just jump into them without a worry. You know, I'm not always necessarily looking for the cheapest solution. I'm looking for the best solution to solve whatever issues my vehicles have. So yeah, and you know what? I think we've made enough progress for one episode. So I'm going to leave it here. Thank you again very much for watching. The plan for the next episode is to just keep on going. We just keep on trucking. I try not to bore everyone with every single nut and bolt and clip and whatever. It mainly does cover the main points. And you know what? You don't even have to be that interested in doing this sort of work yourself. You know, if you're just watching it, because if you're watching my stuff because you enjoy it, thank you very much. Tell your friends, share it around. Yeah, hopefully next time we'll get that little bit closer to getting this truck back on the road, because we've come a long way since taking it off. Thanks for watching Harry's Big Shed.